Bucks at 6:30. In Game 2, Heat lead the series 1-0. I haven't been a big fan / feeling the Bucks. So I think someone's going to sneak around and knock them off. But, you gave me that the Heat could win Game 1, but you wouldn't give me any more after that. How you feeling now about that? Can the Heat actually pull off the full-blown upset of the Bucks?
Yes.
Okay.
I think they can. I think the Heat have got more consistent players than the Bucks do, and what I mean by that is they're going to show up and play really pretty consistently each night. The biggest X factor to me with the Bucks, and I said it at the beginning why I didn't have the Bucks making it past the Eastern Conference Finals, was I don't know if Chris Middleton's going to show up. I know what Giannis is going to do. Giannis is going to go out there, drop at least between 25 to 30 points a game. He's going to get a bunch of rebounds, and he's just going to be so tough to deal with. But who else is there going to show up? Who else is going to show up? Is Bledsoe going to show up? Is George Hill going to show up? Or is Marvin Williams going to actually make an appearance?
Well,
they made
George
a trade
Hill
for
don't even
him.
want to be there.
You've
Never been able to count on Marvin Williams for anything.
and I said that Monday as well. When I said it would not surprise me if Miami steals this game, because I don't know what kind of emotional state Milwaukee's in. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to blame that completely on why they lost, because I'm going to sit here and give a lot of credit to the Miami Heat, and especially a lot of credit to Jimmy Butler. People don't realize, if they don't quite pay attention to, like post-game stats and those little tidbits, Jimmy Butler just joined Dwayne Wade and LeBron James as the only other Miami Heat player to score 40 points in a playoff game. All right, so Jimmy Butler went off, and he really took it to them, and it's so much fun to watch Jimmy Butler actually go out there and dominate, because he kind of got looked over as the guy that was supposed to come in, step in, and take over the Bulls team when Derrick Rose had all those knee injuries, and the team was no longer Derrick Rose's. It was supposed to be Jimmy Butler's. Yeah. He was known for playing hard-nosed defense, and his offense was limited, but he could get to the rack. Since then, his game has really evolved. He still cannot shoot from the three-point line, but the other night, everything that he was jacking up was going down.
Yeah.
He was just in his zone. Defensively, he can match up with Chris Middleton, and Chris Middleton does not want any piece of Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is going to make Chris Middleton's life hell throughout this whole series. And that's what I've been told all year, is that Chris Middleton is supposed to be the second star on this Milwaukee's Bucks team. Well, if you take him out and he's non-existent, and Giannis can't go out here and just impose his will and drop 30 because they've got Bam, who's just as athletic and can throw him on Giannis, this is going to just come down to other role players versus Heat, Bucks role players versus Heat role players. And I think the Heat role players will show up more consistently than the Bucks. So could the Heat win this series? Yes. I feel more confident about saying that after what I saw Monday. Do I think they will? I don't.
See,
I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong and see Miami knock off the Bucks. But I think the Bucks, they're going to wake up, and I don't see them reverse sweeping this. They're not just going to win 4 in a row. I could see it going 5 or 6.
At least 6. Any one of the Eastern Conference teams could win it, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, not win it, but make the finals.
Make the
finals. Because right at this point, I think all 4 are the same. I don't think, you've got Giannis, but who else do you have?
Right.
In Boston, you've got your 3-headed guards, but if they miss threes or get beat up on the boards, they're easily beatable. Just because they're up 2-0 in Toronto, let's not bury Nick Nurse yet.
I'm not.
If they win this game 3, of course, tomorrow, it will have a series, or maybe we should. As far as Miami, like I said, doesn't Miami have just the same that Milwaukee does, basically? Is they got one star that can get you 25, 30 every night, and then 40 if you need it, and then everybody else, it just depends who shows up. Like so to me, it's almost like the Jazz Nuggets series where everybody kind of matches up evenly.
It's just who else is going to show up tonight.
Think about what happened. We had a 2-point Game 7 final.
Yeah, and it was low scoring.
The score was 80-70. We had a team win Game 7 in today's era of basketball, where teams the other day, the Rockets the other day scored 155 points, 154,
Crazy.
and they just won with 80 in a game. You know, if they had Bol in there, they'd have won by 15.
Okay.
But we'll talk about that later.
Sure. Okay.
But yet, to me in the East, Hunter, I ain't about anybody. The other game tonight, OKC and Houston. What you got? 5.5 are the Rockets favored by the way.
Oh, I said when they announced Russell Westbrook was to be coming back, it could be a good or a bad thing for Houston. And to me, I think he showed up in Game 5, and he did what they needed to do, and they won Game 5.
Well, what's up?
And then Game 6 happened, and he absolutely crapped the bed. And he was probably one of the main reasons that they lost that ball game.
Yeah.
So Russell Westbrook right now is a double-edged sword, and just which side are you going to grab? You going to grab the good side or the bad side? I don't know. Is he going to shoot you into the game?
Aren't
He's going to
both
shoot
sides
you out
bad
the
on a
game.
double-edged sword?
Yeah, I guess depending on which way you're swinging it. Are you swinging it to your opponent, or are you swinging it accidentally at one of your buddies? You know? I don't know. He can win you games, he can lose you games. That's what I said about Russell Westbrook when he was coming back. And tonight, talent-wise, Houston should win. Mm-hmm. They are more talented than the Thunder. Execution-wise, the Thunder, I think, can win. Now, I'm going to lean with the Thunder. I had the Thunder, Tom and Terry on our Saturday show, they had the Rockets winning this series. I had the Thunder just because I thought the Thunder would mesh better. I think they'd have better team chemistry because, there are the problems that everybody runs into. Any coach, whether it's D'Antoni or whoever takes over the Rockets, it's going to be who's going to have the ball in their hands. It's going to be James Harden or is it going to be Russell Westbrook? Well, they're both so ball dominant.
Tomorrow it's Raptors and Celtics at 6:30. Hunter, when that game's over, that would be 3 games into a series.
And the Lakers haven't even played one.
And the Nuggets and Clippers hadn't even played one yet
until
after that game. So they will.
This is so
the
lopsided.
Raptors and Celtics will have played 3 games in the Western Conference semifinals. Haven't even started.
I remember what I said too Monday. The team that had the most rest was the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
Because their series, since they had swept it, it was already done.
And then they got 3 extra days.
And they got 3 extra days during the protest. So they were the most rested team. In Milwaukee, with the emotions being high, they still had to play. So maybe that played into it as well, why Miami stole the first one from Miami. The Raptors and Celtics game, this is what troubles you if you're rooting for the Raptors, though. Kemba Walker had an awful game last night, and the Celtics still won. They still won. And
by 3.
It might have been by 3, but he still had a bad game.
You know what's killing him?
Nobody else is showing up.
No, Marcus Smart.
Oh, for some reason he's flipped on a switch and decided to go beast mode.
He made 5 threes in game 1, and I asked you on Monday, is he gonna make 5 threes again? You said no.
And
he
guess
made
what?
5 in the 4th quarter.
Hey.
He made 5 in the 4th quarter.
If I would have asked you the same exact question, you would have said no too.
How does that hell no?
There's no way.
He made 6 threes, Tatum 4, Brown 3. They were 15 of 38 from 3 at 39%. Now let me read you Toronto's dodos. They were 11 of 40 from 3. Van Vliet went 3 of 12. I mean, Hunter, if you lose by 3.
And he still had 19.
If you lose by 3 and you miss 29 3-pointers.
I'm telling you.
I'm not saying knock down one of them damn things, but come on.
That's
you can't make 12?
That's why I could not coach at an NBA level, because every time they would come down, like, they get a rebound, miss a 3, get another rebound, miss a 3. By the 3rd time they miss that damn 3, I'm going to look at him and say, can we not work the ball in the paint? Do we have to sit here and just chuck them up until one makes it, and then you're like, oh, I'm out my slump?
The Raptors took 14 more shots than the Celtics and lost by 3. So, listen, bad shooting. Marcus, listen,
this is just the worst time for you to say, okay, we're going to have some bad nights.
Think about it. You missed 29 threes, and Marcus Smart made 6. So, yes, you got beat. Yes, you're down 2-0. But come on. How many games are we missing 29 and Marcus Smart? He's hit 11 threes in 2 games. And how many times is he going to hit 6? So I don't know
Marcus Smart,
if I'm that worried.
He hit 6 threes and was only +1. Because he had 5 turnovers. But nobody on the bench even played well for the Celtics either. They only got 13 total points off their bench.
I had to go down the hall for a sec. Hunter, you want to still talk about that or start working on
No, I'll go
Jazz
ahead.
Nuggets Game 7?
I'll talk about I'll finish what I thought about the Boston-Toronto game the other night. Jason Tatum is a stud. Jason Tatum is just a stud. He had 34 and was +5, and he had 4 turnovers, but 8 rebounds, 6 assists. He was doing it all. Had a steal. And I know that the stat line says Kemba Walker had 17 and Jaylen Brown had 16, but that's what I meant by if you're the Raptors, that should be troublesome because all 3 of them easily could get in total 60 to 65 points, and they didn't get it at all, and you still lost. You didn't get anything if you're the Raptors out of your other core players. I mean, you got still they play good, but Marc Gasol, the big man down low, who's probably, if you had to do, how I like to do it, I get my piece of paper out, and we match up the positions. If we're talking the center position, Celtic center, Toronto center, Marc Gasol should be winning this matchup every time. He only had 6. I'm looking here, and, Theis had 3. But when Williams came in off the bench, that's weird. I can't just say Williams. There are 2 Williams that came in off the bench. I'm talking about, which one is this? Is this Robert Williams? Yeah, Robert Williams III. Center. He came off the bench. He had 11, so he had more points than your starting center had. Serge Ibaka came in for the Toronto Raptors and was a good surge off the bench. He had 17. I'd start him this next game. Because you're, like we said, when we reference last night's Game 7 between Denver and Utah, you had a game that went 78-80. That game is a low-scoring game for an NBA playoff game. I'm looking at this game 102-99. I still think that's low scoring for today's NBA scoring. So if you're the Raptors, you just need points. You just need points at this point. You need guys that can go in and get you buckets. How are you going to, and how do you expect to win? Seriously, how do you expect to win if you can't hold Jason Tatum to under 30? At least under 20. He had 34. The highest scoring player wasn't even Siakam. It was OG Onanubi with 20 points for the Raptors. The core players for Toronto need to step up in the next game. That'll be tomorrow night. So they need to step up because if Boston wins this next game, I'd write off the Raptors. I have Boston in the finals. So this is playing out exactly how I thought it was going to be. I thought Boston, like man for man, just stacking them up, lining up next to each other. I just thought they had more firepower, and that's just kind of what it did. I know it was only a 3-point game this time, but they got blown out by like 20 in the first game.
None of us are Nostradamus. None of us are
No.
Are soothsayers or Jesus or any other
Fortune teller.
folks like that.
Yeah.
I picked the Nuggets to beat the Raptors in the finals. It's like I said, it's hard to see. I picked the Celtics to lose because I don't trust Kemba Walker, and if Marcus Smart don't hit 6 threes last night, the series is 1-1, and if the Raptors don't miss 29 threes, the series is 1-1. I picked the Nuggets because after watching the preseason, or whatever you want to call it,
The bubble.
I think their starting lineup is solid. I just thought they had a weak bench. I didn't think they had they don't have the superstar to win it, but I thought they were the most solid team. Once I saw before the season started, I said Hornets pick Bol. Hornets pick Bol. And then he got some smell in the regular season, I guess what you call it, and he balled out. And I picked them thinking that he would be coming off the bench 20 minutes a game, block a couple shots, grab a couple rebounds, nail a couple threes. Hell, Hunter, he could have guarded Joe Ingles that whole series every minute. Like Joe Ingles, is he gonna blow by him?
God, yeah, because Joe Ingles only had 7 points
That's what I'm saying. Like,
in the final game.
so after watching that series, with giving the Jazz all the credit I can, hell, they were up 3-1. The coach for Denver, I was gonna fire after the series, and I still probably would. How many NBA coaches have you ever seen on the sidelines with their hands over their faces? Like, this is a professional coach, and I don't like his. It's almost like Steve Clifford with his offensive. Just the fact Bobo not getting to play just is just insanely silly. Let me go looking at the last game. It's hard to win or down on 2 guys, Hunter. And if one of them don't have, you got to get your 60 points from your 2 guys. Is the best way I can put that.
Neither team did.
And it was 80.
Neither one of them did. Neither one of them did.
Yeah, and so for the Nuggets, Hunter, Paul Millsap, how does he earn? Not only how does he earn minutes every game, he earns starter.
Yeah, he starts
2
the game.
points, 14 minutes. He used to be a good basketball player. Jeremy Grant, Hunter, 3 points in 35. If I looked at this box score, there's no way this team wins, and they damn won the game. Jokic with 30. Murray goes 7 of 21, 1 for 6 from threes. Here's the threes. Listen to this. This is the one I was remembering. 1 for 3, 1 for 4, 1 for 6, 1 for 3, 1 for 5, 1 for 5, and the starting center made the most threes with 2.
2 for 5. Jokic.
The Joker went 2 for 5 as a team, Hunter. 8 of 31 from 3. You think that's bad? The Jazz were 8 of 34 from
That's
3.
bad. That's bad, and especially when you're supposed to have a sharpshooter in Joe Ingles, and he only goes 1 for 5 from the 3-point line.
Their 3-point shooters went 1 for 4, 1 for 6, 1 for 5, 1 for 5, 2 for 4, and 2 for 8 from Donovan Mitchell.
I'll say this, though. I said it, and I'm going to stick by it. This team, if you're the Nuggets, they will go as Jamal Murray goes, and this game was so close, and look why. You think he's going to go 1 for 6 from the 3-point line every game?
He might against the Clippers.
Listen, I
got 3 people.
Listen, I'm saying this though. I don't. That's why I had the Clippers advancing over whichever team they played here.
I had Michael Porter getting 15. And I had Porter. I had this, Hunter. If I'm looking at this team, and I'm coaching, this is how I would go. I would say, well, Jokic will give me 25. Murray will give me 25. There's 50. Porter's going to get me 15. There's 65. Bowl's going to give me 10, maybe 15. There's 75. And then work from that, because the other guys suck. Like, the other guys, Torrey Craig
Gary Harris
sucks.
is not bad, but I think he's still injured.
He done shit yet.
He hasn't. He's only played 2 games, but he hasn't done anything. I think he's still trying to work himself back in he's 26 minutes. Good God.
Yeah, he got 26 minutes, went 1 for 9. Like, if you're going to play him 26 minutes, why aren't you starting him?
Why do you got Paul Millsap in the starting lineup running 14 minutes?
Or Monte Morris? Like,
why would you not put Michael Porter Jr. in there for more? You put Millsap's minutes with Porter minutes, and he's getting starter-type minutes, and I guarantee he scores you more than 10 points.
You got 3 starters in there that combined got 12 points.
And Porter Jr. on the bench got you 10.
Are you telling me that...
With Craig on the bench as well, they got 17 combined. So they were more than 3 of your starters.
You can say whatever you want about Bobo, but if he gets 35 minutes like Jeremy Grant did, he's getting more than 3 points.
I don't know, Kevin. I just don't know, but I will say this.
He's getting more than 3.
Nuggets, congratulations. This series was fun to watch when it was the battle between Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell. This next series is not going to be fun to watch.
So, Hunter,
I think the Clippers can manhandle them. I do. If Paul George
I don't
shows
think the Clippers
up,
can guard Jokic.
They might not
But
guard
they
Jokic.
but they can guard Murray.
They can guard Jamal Murray and anybody else.
They don't have to guard anybody else.
No, that's what.
Who do they have to guard?
I know. I'm
It's
just
so
saying.
shitty. It's so
I'm
terrible.
just saying. You could technically double team Jamal Murray. Let Jokic get what he wants, because I'm looking here.
Wouldn't you throw
I
10
don't know.
defenders up?
I don't know anybody defensively on this Nuggets team, because what was the one thing going into the playoffs that everybody said they didn't do? They don't play defense. They're not stopping Kawhi. They might not stop Paul George. They're not going to stop Trez. They're not going to stop Lou Williams. I mean, for superstars, what do you consider stop? If they still get 20 points?
Hey, you might not. You said the Nuggets might not play defense. They just held an opponent to 78 points.
No, the Jazz held themselves to
No,
78 points.
that's not how it goes. Hunter.
The Jazz held themselves to 78 points, just
No.
like the Nuggets held themselves to 80 points.
No, that's not
This is
how
what
it-
happens when you can't shoot for shit.
We did get a comment, Hunter, and the answer is no. I think it's just, I can't see it from across the room. It's Tamir.
Yeah.
To her. Want to know if he subscribes to our channel, could we get him a copy of NBA 2K21?
I can't even do that, buddy.
The answer is no.
I'm sorry. We can't do that. It'd be nice. We're not that big. We're not like.
And then we got another comment for this one's for Hunter, not for me.
Uh-huh.
I heard a rumor that football player Leo Messi is set to